rights, you are halfway there to ensure that it's not being trampled upon. But how do we make this as a legacy that will last in the Nigerian polity?
Okay, a lot of things are happening in Nigeria that are quite anti-human rights in nature, and I feel that Nigeria is one of the countries in the world with the lowest level of awareness about human rights knowledge, human rights education. So the issue is this: you could see on the internet or somewhere some time ago where a Nigerian, a medical doctor for that matter, had to violate the right of another Nigerian by keeping the Nigerian in his house, removed all his documents, maltreated the Nigerian to the extent that up to about 15 years or above, the British government got to know about it, and I think they have taken up the case, and the Nigerian couple, they had to they'll be sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for maltreating another Nigerian, denying her of the human right. They brought the Nigerian to that country, and at the end of the day, they locked that Nigerian up, maltreated the Nigerian, kept that Nigerian in their house to do household things, household duties, removed all the documents from her, told her that if you go out to the street to report to the police, it's going to be as if the police will see you as an illegal immigrant. They brainwashed the person and kept that person indoor, using the person, that is in conditions that were anti-dignity.
That's abduction.
Abduction. So yeah. I think the British government came about it, and they have taken the case up and prosecuted the couple. What I'm saying is that there's a Nigerian, an educated Nigerian, a Nigerian that's gone to the university. He still had the guts, the lifestyle to subject another Nigerian, a human being, with right of reputation, right of dignity, to that kind of condition. It makes us know that even though that person is in a developed country, in the United Kingdom, he could still behave the average Nigerian way. What is the average Nigerian way? We have low knowledge about our rights, and at the end of the day, we don't even push to know our rights. We don't even push to see when our rights have been violated, and to see how we can get redemption from it. Now, I think to leave a legacy in this regard is that there is the United Nations Declaration for Human Rights, or of Human Rights. That, and Nigerian is a part of the United Nations. It's a universal declaration for human rights. I think what should be is that the social study curriculum that we have in our primary schools, if we still do, that there should be a incorporation of what we call human rights into our social studies. Then when Nigerians get to higher education, whether polytechnic, college, university, the universal declaration of human rights should be entrenched in our curriculum, and it should be as if the way we know our ABC, we should know the universal declaration of human rights just that way. So that
from the way it is now, it is absent.
It's not. I never curriculum. Actually, I went through school. I went through primary school in Nigeria, secondary school in Nigeria, and university in Nigeria, though I had a little training overseas. I never came across, whether in JST, in social studies, in government, where the universal declaration for human rights by the United Nations is taught in total. I never came across it. If I tell you, you are a broadcaster, if I tell you, give me 3 items verbatim, you can't give me. Well, if you did it as a course and you wrote the exam, you passed. It will be entrenched in your soul. It will be entrenched in your mentality. You know it. By the time the politician up there knows that you know you're right, you learned it in school from beginning to the end. The articles of the Universal Declaration is part and parcel of you. He knows it. You know it. He will be careful in the way he does his things in an attempt not to violate your human rights.
Okay, so but just like what I had some set of civil society practitioners, not quite long, and we articulated all of this. But the challenge here is one thing for you to know your rights. Is another for you to ensure that your rights being violated, you demand justice for it.
Okay.
Do we have an institution like the judiciary where you can say that those who have little or no funds to access the judiciary to adjudicate cases on their behalf in respect of addressing these violations? How do we tackle this in that aspect?
First and foremost,
because we have poverty, which is standing as a challenge.
And they say when trees fall on trees, you remove the uppermost. First and foremost, the Nigerian system is so depressive. The governance is a governance that reduces Nigerians to a level where Nigerians find that the main focus of Nigeria is to look for food and water. So to the extent that if that's the main focus, you see your rights, whether violation or preservation of your right, as a secondary issue, because the government, the system has reduced you to a seeker of bread and water. So in that regard, it will be a very great limitation. But by the time, if the human rights as declared by the United Nations have been entrenched in the Nigerian governance, if the rulership of the country, state, local government, I want to tell you that even up to the local government, state, and many federal officers, they don't even know the content of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. If we knew this, a lot of things that we even do, that social media or protest now have to correct us. The government should not have even gone in that direction at all. There are some things that happen in Nigeria that social media will now start saying some things, protests will now start doing something that will make government to quickly stop it and come to the right direction. If the government knew the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right to life, right to education, right to health, right to dignity, freedom of speech, freedom from fear is part of is entrenched in that article. Your right to be free from fear. Your government should not rule you in a way, rule your account in a way that you will have fear in your life. Freedom from fear, freedom from freedom of speech, freedom from being dehumanized.
Okay, can we also add this?
Yes, it's part of speech. Because in that article, there are 3 segments. 1, freedom of speech.
But you don't have.
We're coming. There are 4 segments. 1, freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of religion.
Yes.
Then another is freedom from want.
From want.
Yes, it's part of it. It's four it's 4 blocks. Freedom from want, freedom from fear.
Okay, now
look at it. Freedom from fear should simply address the north. Look at it. You could stay in the northern part of Nigeria without fear. And whatever should violate that fear, to violate that your freedom, that your liberty, should be addressed by government without your crying out. Now look at it. Freedom from want. You can't want and die. As in, you want food, you can't have food and die. You want peace, you can't have peace and you died. You want water, you can't have water and you died. You want healthcare, you can't have it and you die. These are not part of. If we change that, we should not experience this. Now,
that's the role of the government.
The government. You are telling us that what should we do as citizens to do this? We don't need to even think of doing anything per se. The government should know that these are the principles, philosophies that a society should have. If this is entrenched in a society, we will not have our rights violated. And if we have our rights violated, it will not be as basic as you attacking my dignity, as basic as me having as you or anyone having to be afflicted with hunger, as basic as having to be in jail without judicial process, as basic as having to be arrested without recourse to judicial system. We don't even have any reason to think about that. In the low crimes, those things are not talked about. It's higher forms, that is very rare issues that human rights are violated, and even in those rare cases, people take it up. In a number of cases in Nigeria, human rights are so violated that before you think of fighting for your right in a violation A, violation B, C, D has happened. So will you live your life trying to fight for your right to be given to you all day long? And at the end of the day, the infrastructure to make you peaceful, to make you live a good life, is not even there. So it's a complex. It's a complex of confusion. That's the way I can put it.
Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Godwin Igaro. He's a researcher and analyst, a lecturer at the University of. And the topic for is Human Rights Day, as the United Nations has set aside this day, December 10, to celebrate human rights, and most especially as we key into ways to protect human rights. Godwin Igaro, you've traveled far, you've been overseas, and you've seen how things have been done overseas. And now coming back home, Nigeria happens to be like what is hitting headlines, happens to be a bedrock in which corruption thrives. Now, do you see corruption as a major cause of the human rights violation?
Okay. Corruption.
With the experience you've had overseas.
Corruption is a major contributing factor to violation of human rights. You know, the popular singer, Fela Nicola Mokuti. It was, if you look at the lyrics, if you leave his personality aside and judge the lyrics of his songs, you will see some areas where Fela was trying to say that Nigerians will not even know our rights. And he was also trying to say that even the government, the people that lead us, don't even know the rights. What was he talking about? He had an education abroad, and in abroad you have a lot of things to be told you about your rights. It's as good as you know your ABC, that you know your rights. And these rights are from the United Nations, as I earlier said. Now, we don't so much know our rights here, and our leaders don't even know our rights. Now, if the Universal Declaration for Human Rights has been part of the average Nigerian from the days of Murtala Muhammad, those early leaders, and they knew it, you'll be sure that they know that Nigerians know it, and they also knew it. The level of corruption would have been reduced. The fact that we do not necessarily know much of our rights has made our leaders have the leeway to behave the way they are behaving. And they have looted our funds so much. And when the funds are looted, there will not be available funds to take care of what the people will need. And therefore their rights are violated.
Like freedom from want.
Freedom from want. You cannot take care of the fact that I need education. I need food. I need clothing. I need shelter. That if I'm naked on the street, it's a dehumanization experience for me. It's robbery on my dignity. If I'm naked, or if I have no food, if I'm begging, it's a robbery of my dignity. If you are not aware of that, you will loot my funds, the fund of the country. Let me say that you loot the fund of the country, and when you loot the funds so much, the country will have no funds to establish infrastructure, systems, and things that will make people to be free from wants. Now we don't even have freedom of want. Now you see families, one person succeeds, the rest of the families are beggarly. So the issue of corruption in Nigeria is a very great contribution to the level of violation of human rights that we have. If you talk about violation of human rights, the corruption, look at the police. The level of corruption in the police is so bad that I don't know. In fact, everything moves from the experience you have from the Nigerian police is a total violation of the right of the citizens they protect. It's a total violation. So then the fact that someone loses our money, takes the Nigerian money away to another, at the end of the day, look at the United Kingdom, for example. When you are bringing the money, they'll be looking at you. They'll look at you because the average British person is wise. They'll look at you, bring all the money first. After the money has settled in their country, has penetrated their economy, then they will now start bringing the United Nations rules on corruption. And as they will not catch up with you. At that point in time, they have already allowed the money to be released into their system. They will still catch up with you eventually. You become a copy, you become a criminal by their legal process. But at that point in time, the money is already in the economy of the British government. And at the end of the day, the Nigerians remain foolish. That most times when this thing happens, you cannot recover the money back to take back home, to use the money to repair your country. So that is the irony of it. Corruption at any level, whether in a place, whether in the medical care, look at it. When you talk about right to life, there is no medical healthcare worker that has any privilege to do any medical procedure that will claim life. Those cases of negligence, people dying out of mistakes from medical practitioners, whether a medical lab scientist, whether a pharmacist, whether a nurse, whether a doctor, those negligences in these areas, in their practices, that lead to what? That lead to death is a violation of right to life. And right to life is part of the United Nations Declaration for Human Rights. So when you violate my right to life, you make nonsense mistakes, avoidable mistakes that leads to my death. You are violating what? My human rights.
Thank you very much for being on this show with me, and let's look at the way forward in 1 minute, how to address all of these challenges in protecting the human rights.
Well, the way forward, I feel, is that we should adopt in total and customize to our immediate use the United Nations Universal Declaration for human rights. We may not be able to swallow everything, spirit and letter. We can customize some of the aspects of the Universal Declaration to suit the Nigerian environment. And when we do this, we have to incorporate this rights education, human rights education, to our educational system in a proper way. Spell it out outrightly. The course is human rights studies. Let it be in primary school at the basic stage. Let it be in the secondary school at the basic stage. Let it be in the university. No matter the course you are reading, whether you are reading history or you are reading chemistry, let it be there. Human rights studies
as a core course.
As a core course. Take that
even if you fail it, you must pass it. And at the end of the day, you come up with the fact that every Nigerian citizen, then you can even translate that to the local dialect. Every Nigerian citizen knows this right. So that when you are up there, you are eating my money, you know that I know my right. I'm just looking at you. By the time I revolt, you're going to have a big problem. Thank you very much, Godwin Igaro, a researcher, lecturer, University of Benin. He said it all. That it is key that is being placed in the school curriculum as a core course, simply put. So if you fail it as a student, then you do it again until you pass it. Spill over. You could spend years in the university, years in the primary, years in the secondary. Until you pass it, you're not going anywhere. So that it becomes part and parcel of us. Today is Human Rights Day, and that's why we've been having it, digging it down on ensuring that the protection of human rights is key. So much has been said. Shortly, we'll bring you Breakfast Sports. Don't you go away.
Traffic congestion is avoidable if we all obey traffic rules and regulations. Stop the on our the canal traffic and regulations. Message to you. Independent television radio.
Remember saying that Ember every day, so not just the cause. You the cause for plenty parts drive with. This message independent radio and television.
All right, so good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Sports segment of TMI this lovely Thursday morning. I am the sports Berlusconi, and Alpha Francis. Of course, kudos to our coach Samson Siasia has his team narrowly defeated the host yesterday to progress to the finals of this year's AFCON Under 23 and Nations Cup going on right now in Senegal, and of course also getting the ticket for the football event, May football event of next summer Rio Olympic in Brazil. Of course, celebrate, and of course the goal had to come via penalty as a table 15 minutes possible for the Dream Team 6 now get that wasn't an order, but it turns to the Daniel who actually saved a penalty like your screen right now. It was 1-1, kept the team in the game yesterday, and he did marvelously well. Of course, the defense also failed, but this one was what actually led to the penalty, with the Senegalese defender handling the ball right at 18-yard box, and also the referee issuing a red card. And of course, Tego, the goal strike, converted it swiftly, and of course, the Senegalese did their best to actually get back to the game, but and of course, just Nigeria that qualified for the finals after that. Of course, yesterday, Africa met that team in Nigeria. Nigerians triumphed over the South Africa. Watch an episode from the game between Algeria and South Africa right back football from the Champions League.
Down. However, the spot kick was a poor one from Keita at half. The best had been created by the home side, and still they couldn't find the back of the net a little before the hour mark. Once more foiled by Daniel. Meanwhile, Team Little and goalkeeper and captain Papin Ndiaye and his defender got into an awful position, which resulted in a penalty and red card for Esenu Tiune. The Dream Team skipper Etebo Ogenekaro had no problem with beating his opposite number for the opener. While the final chance of the tie went the way of the hosts, it didn't yield any reward. Nigeria through to both the final and the Olympics, with one more shot at Rio 2016 in the third and fourth place playoff.
The final at the 23 Cup of Nations, owned troops taking on Algeria in what was said to be a thrilling semi-final encounter. The North Africans are known for their flair going forward and were expected to test the South African defense. They started brightly in the opening stages. The writing was on the wall with Algeria on the front, and they took the lead thanks to a special finish.
It's a good chance for Algeria. It's gone in the back of the net from and very finish. How cool.
The Africans were down, and South Africa needed Jody February to be at its very best to keep out Algeria. Gift Motupo looked to lead the fight back 4-3, but the Pirates' man failed to hit the target and moved to a good position. South Africa finished the first half on a high, but little matters, with Riyad Nuruddin showing good skill to find an opening before firing the keeper. Beaten on the back foot just before the break, Algeria came out bigger. While the South African down, they never gave in, with Abu Bakar going closer.
All right, 3 goals scored into the 2 games yesterday. You've seen it. Of course, Nigeria defeating the host nations, Senegal, 1-0, and South Africa losing to Algeria, 2-0. Of course, Nigeria, the Algerians, they've played before
the last group game in Group B. That game ended goalless. So another time to see if both teams can score goals now in the finals come Saturday. Then, of course, Senegal actually taught the South Africans how to play football in the very first Group A game. Now, okay, let's see if the South Africans can now get their pound of flesh. But one thing that got their pound of flesh yesterday is Arsenal, after they went to Greece to play against Olympiacos. Now, the hero of the Pride of London, they call them Arsenal,